Welcome to This Week with Ajaz Haque. This is the midweek report on Wednesday, May the 6th, 2020. To start with, in one of my previous reports, I had mentioned the name of new Information Minister, Mr. Zahid Sarfaraz. That was an oversight. It is Mr. Shibli Faraz. So, Mr. Shibli, if you're watching, please accept my apology. We will update on the corona, and then there are a number of other important issues to share with you that are affecting the world markets and the economies. First of all, the corona update in Pakistan. So far, 22,000 cases. Out of those, 6,000 have recovered and gone home. The number of deaths so far is 514. That is 0.2% of the deaths that have happened due to corona in the world. When the coronavirus hit Pakistan, we did not produce either the masks or the PPE, the protective gearing for the doctors and medical staff, or the respirators, ventilators, and everything that was required. Now, thank God, within 8 weeks, Pakistan is producing all of those things. And in fact, currently, orders have been received for millions of PPE and masks, which are being exported to US, to Europe, and other countries. Similarly, hand sanitizer are being exported, and so are the hydrochloroquine tablets. This week, Cabinet approved I-voting for overseas Pakistanis, and that means that the Pakistanis who live abroad will be able to vote in the next general elections or by-elections. However, this still has to be approved by the Parliament, which has been pending before it for a long time, but I understand it will be pushed through at a rapid pace so as to enable overseas Pakistanis who contributed enormously to Pakistan's economy to vote in the elections. Something very interesting happened this week. Mr. Shehbaz Sharif, the leader of the opposition, in a couple of interviews which appeared to be planted, claimed that he had links with the military establishment, and even before the 2018 elections, it had been decided that he'd be the next prime minister, and he had even had his cabinet approved by the military. Now, this all sounds very funny because this tantamounts to an admission from PMNL that they've always come through the back door and not through the ballot. I guess this time the ballot won and PMNL lost. His claim was that he was communicating through a couple of journalists. I didn't know that journalists elected prime ministers, or maybe they took him for a ride. Anyway, very unfortunate, and fortunate that the ballot won this time. Now, an update on the corona impact on the world markets, what has happened from the beginning of this year to now. This is year to date, the stock markets. Dow Jones is down 16.6%. This is all from January 1, 2020. S&P 500 is down 11.6%. FTSE 100 is down 22.4%. CAC 40, the French stock market, is down 25%. Xetra DAX, the German market, is down 19%. Hang Seng Index is down 14.7%. Nikkei of Japan is down 17%. And Mumbai Sensex is down 24%. The TSX Toronto Stock Exchange is down 13.5%. Pakistan Stock Exchange is down 18%. Shanghai Index is down only 6%, and the Australian market, stock market, is down 19%. Now, stock markets are usually a couple of years ahead, but there are two ways of looking at it. Either there's a lot of room for improvement, or the stock markets are telling us that the economies in the next couple of years are going to be down quite a bit, because usually the markets are ahead a couple of years. So let's hope former is the case, because too much damage has been done to the world economies. Warren Buffett says there's nothing to buy at the moment. It may well be true, but he usually says this when he's quietly buying some large chunks of shares of some prominent companies. I guess we'll find out. If in about 3 months news comes out that he's bought Shell or BP or some other company, a major chunk, then we'll know that that's what he was doing. But if he's still sitting on cash at that time, it means he's being very cautious. Now, the oil prices have been up and down like a yo-yo. The West Texas crude, which one day dropped to $39 negative price, then it closed at $2 negative, is now trading at around $24. It's down year to date 60%. Brent crude, which fell below $20 at one time, is now trading at $30 and is 53% down year to date. The US unemployment rate, which has done well over the last few years and at the end of March was 4.4%, is expected to jump to 16% on the April 30 figures, which are due out on Friday. The US is also planning to buy $3 trillion to fix the shortfall in its budget, and that's a lot of borrowing. US is already well over 100% of their GDP, and this will increase their borrowing even further, and that's worrying some Republicans and conservatives who are opposed to such serious borrowing. In the past, China has put in a lot of money into US Treasuries, but it's doubtful that this time they will be chipping in, because several senators and politicians are already talking about confiscating China's $1.3 trillion investments in treasuries because of the coronavirus. Now, the CIA and the other agencies, as well as WHO, all say that China did not spread this virus, but Donald Trump and his cronies are hell-bent that that is the case and they should penalize China. So let's hope it doesn't get ugly. There have been enough trade battles before, and the world economies cannot take this. So this is it for Midweek Report, and I will see you next Saturday. Thank you.